match. Now, but before we go into that particular,
why are you roping me in? Is that the positive scene?
We'll watch it together.
Which one we watch it together? At the end of the day, they will hold my neck. That you are anti-Chelsea.
Yeah, but I was the one who called Chelsea first.
You called Chelsea first, but you are roping my head.
I don't want to follow you. Watch the match.
I don't want to follow you.
People, please. So 3-1 it ended. I watched with Noble. So the match was very interesting, but Chelsea has played 6 matches now, and they've not won anyone. Noble, what's up with that match?
Okay, my people, since he doesn't want to go through the positive angle, I'm going to go through the positive angle. After 6 games, Chelsea finally scored their first goal. They scored 2, but they cancelled 1 because it's an offside position. A lot of Chelsea fans will debate the fact that Nottingham Forest scored based on thin margins. Their goal was given. But when João Pedro scored his first goal, they said it was offside, that his toe was across the line. Crossing. But João Pedro showed them that it's not a fluke. I scored the first goal, I can score it again. Going into extra time, João Pedro scored the first goal after 6 games. That Chelsea have struggled. Since Chelsea have been carrying themselves as the world champions, this season, one will ask the question, Ozzy Hadariwu by carrying the World Champions trophy. They beat PSG, but in contrast, look at where PSG is, look at where Chelsea is. That is the positive side I want. Take it from the compare Chelsea Chelsea is a big club.
Yeah, very big.
Compare them with the big boys.
Yeah.
Look at PSG.
Yeah.
Battling to go into the finals of the Champions League.
Yeah.
They played with Chelsea in the Club World Cup final.
Yeah.
Not easy.
No.
It's not easy. They carried the trophy.
And they lost this afternoon.
They're in the finals of the FA Cup.
Yes.
Man U and everything that they are doing, Man U are not in any
anywhere.
They are not going to lift any trophy. Oh. But Chelsea are close to lifting the second trophy in the past 1 year.
If you can perceive irony, it is everywhere in his voice.
Irony on Which one is if you can perceive irony?
The irony in this segment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take this on before Noble distracts us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's just the way we want to start this evening. I'm pretty sure that Chelsea fans wouldn't like to kill us, but there are so many things to talk about this evening. Like I told you before, AS Farm and the Sundowns have come out to protest the person. Let's also come to Africa now. I told you today we're going to be going it in different routes. AS Farm and Mamelodi Sundowns have come out to protest. What are they protesting? They are protesting the referee that was appointed to handle CAF Champions League final. What happened? The Confederation African Football CAF Referees Committee appointed a controversial Congolese referee, you know him, Jean-Jacques Ndala, to officiate the first leg of the 2026 CAF Champions League final between Morocco's FAR Rabat and South Africa's Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, Ndala, who came under heavy criticism following his handling of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations final, will take charge of the first leg scheduled for May 17th in Pretoria, South Africa. Now, the experienced official has remained one of CAF's highly rated referees despite the controversies that surrounded his officiating and performances in recent years. CAF also confirmed that Somali referee Omar Atam has been selected to officiate the second leg of the final, which will take place on May 24th in Rabat, Morocco. The highly anticipated final is expected to attract huge attention across the continent, with the clubs, both of them aiming to secure Africa's biggest club title. But then, it didn't stop there. Appointing this guy is okay, but then those that he will officiate their match are saying, there is something is fishy. There is something that is smelling. We do not want this man to officiate this match. What do you think about this?
Well, many people will look at it from various angles for this particular encounter, because this is Morocco. This is Morocco versus South Africa in the finals of the CAF Champions League. And then Jean-Jacques Ndala, Congolese referee. One would ask the question, what does he stand to gain to officiate this particular game? Because he is not attached to any of this country. But a lot of people would actually look at the 2025 AFCON final controversy and actually fault on Ndala that when it comes down to his game management and also knowledge of officiating, knowledge of the game, it is very, very poor, that he couldn't call what happened in the finals of the AFCON. And then when it comes down to the World Cup exclusion, a couple of people will state that there's a reason why FIFA did not select him amongst the few officials that were selected from the African domain. And also when it comes down to ASFA significantly highlighted a perceived lack of balance, noting that the first leg features all Congolese officiating crew. Ndala is there, Jelen Bojela is there, Mbelezi Gradel is there, and Jesse Mwesi, all of who are from Congo. They are Congolese descendants, and then they are looking at how things are going to come through, if it's going to coming through to the fact that they will be able to speak with themselves, and then probably who in a situation they will want to say, oh, who would actually beat the highest. But that is one of the things that have actually marred the officiating part of our game, and hopefully at some point would actually let that be bygone. But CAF, when it comes down to their stance and appointments, they previously cleared Ndala of any wrongdoing going into the AFCON final, but question marks actually came through. You cleared him of every wrongdoing, so why did FIFA? Because FIFA would actually go to scrutinize a lot of officials before they will call them up for the World Cup. And Ndala, most notably, the man who officiated
the final,
and also I believe he also officiated the opening game. And you didn't call one would actually, for someone to be called up to officiate a final of such an event, then he should be one of the best officials that Africa have to offer. And then at the end of the day, you see club sides arguing. This time around, it's not about Mamelodi Sundowns, it's not about ASFA. Two club side unanimously wrote to CAF that they do not want this man. So something is fishy somewhere, and this is where Ndala would have to check himself, because it looks like that particular incident at Morocco, the finals between Morocco and Senegal, has probably may have destroyed his career. But let's see how that goes.
All right, just to let you know that though these two clubs, like our Nobody Sports Chef has said, both of them have lodged complaint, CAF is yet to make a statement with respect to that. All right, let's come back home. The Nigerian Football League, NPFL, they have already released their official statistics following match day 36, providing insight into a campaign marked by competitiveness, consistency, and of course involving dynamics across the standings. Now, a total of 359 games have been played so far, providing 718 goals and an average of 2 goals per game. One feature remains outstanding from the latest round, involving curiosity and wiki tourist, a result that could yet impact the final. The data highlights a pronounced home advantage throughout the season, as usual. Of the 268 victories recorded, 226 have been secured by home teams, while away sides have managed just 42 wins. Additionally, 91 games have ended in draws, with visiting teams accounting for 226 defeats, underscoring the challenges of earning points on the road in the NPFL. Now, at the top of the table, Rangers have set the pace with 62 points from 36 matches. Their title challenge has been driven by defensive strength, having conceded only 25 goals this season, the lowest of any of the team in the league, while also maintaining a heavy goal difference of plus 18. Congratulations to Rangers in that one. Also, among the league's joint top scorers with 43 goals, reflecting on well-balanced approach. Now, at the lower end of the table, Bayelsa United and Wiki Tourists are level on 44 points, now illustrating an intensity of regulation battle as the season approaches to the final stages. Elsewhere, Abia Warriors have distinguished themselves with a strong away record, registering 5 wins on their travels, in contrast to Remo Stars that have struggled defensively, conceding 45 goals, the highest tally in the league, highlighting an area that significantly influenced their outing. With 2 matches remaining, a crucial outstanding fixture yet to be decided, the statistics reinforce the tightly contested nature of the 2025-2026 NPFL, where, of course, the margin continue to shape the race. Now, I want us to look at this before we look at the matches played over the weekend.
Okay. When you look at the statistics, it is no longer news that in the NPFL, the home teams are the favorites to go out with victory, and the away sides, the best result for you, it's a draw. The best result for you is
It's
a
a
draw.
draw.
And kudos to Rangers as well as kudos to Abia Warriors. I can tell you that as Rangers, they are enjoying a rhythm of form in recent times, despite the fact that Rivers United have suffered a bit of an obstacle going down to the last run-in. And looking at Abia Warriors, when it comes through to away victories, our Abia Warriors lead when it comes down to away victories. That's 5 victories in this particular campaign, 38 matches, and you won 5 games away. That is how teams struggle when they go down into the away dugout. And a couple of people will actually fault it. They will put out the fact that hostile environment is what is created when you go to an away encounter. And several occasions this season, about 4 or 5 times, we've actually seen the MPFL hitting hard on those who can't control the crowd. And looking at the top of the table clash, the Rangers International boast of the league's best defense, conceding 25 goals, which is great. And they are running for opportunity to actually be crowned champions for this season, taken up from Remo Stars. And looking at Rivers United, trying as much as possible to ensure that Fidelity Lichuku's side do not go away with this. So it's all or nothing to play for, coming through from Rivers United and Finidi George, 2 ex-internationals, so 2 individuals that found themselves with the Super Eagles going head-to-head this particular season. Enugu Rangers, no one actually looked at them, because when it comes down to people that have actually tasted the top of the table, you see Ikorodu City, but where are they now? They are not even at all. They are, I believe, third spot when you come down to see Nasarawa United at some point at the top of the table. And ultimately, slow and steady, that has been the game plan for Enugu Rangers. Slow and steady. So their manager who would actually be looking forward to seeing if the trophy can actually come down to Enugu. And hopefully when it comes down to Southeastern states, they can actually take up a leaf from this particular encounter and see how it goes through.
Very interesting. They are just like you said, Enugu Rangers tightened their grip at the summit of the table, standing after a composed 2-0 away victory. That's against Bayelsa in Yenegua, as the match, the 36 title race and relegation battle, took a dramatic turn. The Flying Antelope remained top of the table with 62 points, keeping their destiny firmly in their own hands, while the Prosperity Boys slipped to 20th place with 40 points. Now, steering relegation. Relegation is looking at Bayelsa now, and Bayelsa looking at relegation. Both of them now having conversation. Now, Rangers title push continues to gather momentum under Fidelity Lichuku, with Rivers United following them closely. A Nigerian artist said bomber to bomber, following them bomber to bomber. Now, in Port Harcourt, second place Rivers United with 61 points delivered a commanding 3-0 victory over Abia Warriors to stay within touch of distance of the leaders. Goals from Wasiu Falolu in the 50th minute and Timothy Zakari in the 75th minute, plus Bello Babatunde in the 89th minute, sealed the emphatic victory for the Pride of Rivers, while the Omuchineke boys dropped 5th with 55 points. Their top 3 ambition is significantly, drying away, is waning away. Now, Shooting Stars on their own climbed into 3rd place with 57 points after edging Nasarawa United 3-2 in a thrilling encounter in Ibadan. 2 goals from Lucky Emmanuel in the 5th and 24th minute, and the decisive strike by Kwama Adogoke in the 77th minute ensured that the Ololoye Warriors won that one, despite goals from Joe Frank, Estanfanus in the 43rd minute and Habibu Alakija in the 57th minute for the Solid Miners, who remain 6th with 53 points. In Aba, Enyimba resurgence continue as they defeat Remo Stars 2-1 to move up to 11th. That's with 46 points. Stanley Dimba 28 and Chidebere Michael in the 49th minute scored for the Elephants of Aba, while Victor Mbama scored in the 21st minute, had earlier given the Sky Blues of course a lead. Remo Stars defeat dragged them again down to relegation zone in the 18th position now with 43 points. The biggest movers of the weekend were Warri Wolves, who climbed out of the drop zone from 17th to 12th place with 49 points after a narrow 1-0 victory over Plateau United in Ozoro. Well, it was Tejerin Emonoma in the 60th minute who gave up the home side the needed victory. Now, in Kano, Barau FC boasted their survival hopes with a resounding 3-0 victory over Academy Warriors. Sunday, Anthony, 35th. Henry Ezonye, 70th minute. And Joseph Atuele in the 75th minute were the guys who were on target for Kano, lifting them to 8th place with 49 points. The defeat leaves the Borno Army in 13th with 46 points, edging closer to the danger zone. Elsewhere, Kun Kalifat of Owerri, the home side now, got a dramatic 2-1 win over Kano Pillars in Owerri. Mesoma Norom, 55th minute, and stoppage time winner from Ogene Ebatomone in the 90-minute plus, handed victory to the pride of Imo, who climbed to the 17th with 43 points. Louis Dadong, 85th minute, was what gave consolation to the Sai Musa Gida side. 14th, and they are now 14th, 45 points, and just 2 points above the relegation zone. In Mina, Niger Tornadoes and Kwara United share the spoils in a pulsating 2-2 draw. Abdurrashid Shedu Dadida in the 26th minute through penalty, and Ismail Sarki in the 86th minute score for both Ikon Alaboys, while Babatunde Bright, 29th minute, and Akin Akani, 23rd minute, found the net for Harmony Boys. Both sides remain locked in 44 points, sitting 15 and 16 respectively. On the fixture between, of course, Benel Insurance and Katsina United, it was halted in the second minute due to heavy rain yesterday. It was 0-0 before it was halted. Ikredu City clash with Wiki Tourist has been scheduled for Tuesday due to Lagos FA Cup final, which took place on Saturday. Interesting. Something is happening up front, just like we're going to look at the EPL today. There's battle at the top of the table, and also battle at the lower part of the table.
Well, I'm going to give kudos first off to Kun Khalifa, the Wuri-based team. They are fighting so hard to ensure that they retain their stay in the MPFL. The 4 teams that qualified to this season's MPFL, 2 teams are looking forward to remaining, and 2 teams are battling. Kun Khalifa and Wiki Tourist, they are battling for safety, and we have Bara FC and Warri Wolves, who actually occupy the 8th and the 12th position. But with the way things stand, Warri Wolves, they are not yet out of safety, because right now they have 46 points, and Kun Khalifa are just 3 points behind them. That is how tight the relegation drop is. For Warri Wolves, they actually occupy the 12th position, and then Kun Khalifa occupy the 17th position, and the team that is placed 17th are just 3 points behind the team that is placed 12th. So nothing is safe, nothing is assured. 2 rounds of matches to be played in the MPFL. And also looking at Kun Khalifa, they're unbeaten in 4 games. They've taken up 10 points from the last 5 games. The last time they lost, I believe that was the 4-2 dropping right there at the Pride of Rivers, yes, close by in Imo State here. And ever since then, it has been victory for Kun Khalifa. And Coach Obina definitely would be looking at the boys. We can do it. It is not far-fetched to actually claim safety until the very last day, until the final whistle is blown. That is when the results will be determined. And then when you look at the teams are in the drop zone, Wiki Tourist are among the teams that Kun Khalifa actually beat in recent time. I believe that was the game that ended. That should be the game that ended 2-0. Or okay, it actually came down to be Warri Wolves, I beg your pardon, not Wiki Tourist. But Wiki Tourist have actually been in poor run of form. Just 1 victory in 5 games. They've lost twice. They've dropped points. They've drawn games twice in the 5 games. And then when it comes down to Bayelsa United, they've been in very poor form. They are the Warri Wolves. They are the Wolverhampton Wanderers of MPFL. So in the past 5 games, they've won once, and 4 consecutive losses for Bayelsa United, probably emulating Chelsea, but who knows? There's no United in Chelsea. And then when you go down to the top, when you go to the top part of the table, Rangers International, we spoke about their defensive resilience, and then Rivers United in their never say die attitude. 3 victories in 5 games, but they've tasted defeat twice. That is not what makes a champion. They are coming out. They are going. They are playing catch up against the team that have won twice and drawn twice. That is actually they drew twice. That's actually taken up to 8 points in the last 5 games for them. And then Shooting Stars find themselves as high as 3rd position. That's actually giving massive kudos to Shooting Stars. At some point, we had the likes of Rivers United at the top, Rangers International, Ikorodu City, and Nasarawa United. But right now, I can tell you that Ikorodu City, they are not even in the top 4. Ikorodu City find themselves fifth on the log, 2 defeats in the past 5 games for Ikorodu City. For Nasarawa United, it has been a poor run of performance for Nasarawa United. 4 defeats in 5 games, and they've managed to win just 1 in that 5 games. So 3 points accumulated in 5 games. That is not what makes a champion. Because right now, we are not looking at just who is going to be the champion, but we are looking at who is going to represent the MPFL next season's Continental Stage. For me, I don't know for any other person, but the performances of the MPFL teams this season in the Continental Stages were very, very poor, where we had Rivers United managing to get
to the
through.
group stage.
Okay, let's not use managing. They played good football in the playoffs. They got the goals that saw them make it to the group stage. But getting into the group stage, it seems like they didn't know what they were doing. And right now, this is a team that they tasted Champions League football, and they are going for Champions League football. So back to back, going into the next season. If they finish second, if they go on to leave the league, they are sure to represent Nigeria. And then let's see if there's going to be a better performance from the MPL side going into the Champions League for next season for CAF.
All right, let's go to Italy to let you know that 2 Super Falcons of Nigeria, Rinshola Babajide and Shukurat Oladipo, they've been crowned the champion of Italian Women Football League. That's because they have secured their first major silverware with AS Roma after the club clinched the 2025-2026 Serie A Femminile title, defeating Ternana in the decisive encounter. Now, midfielder Manuela Galeno was the stand-up performer as she scored both goals to seal victory for the Gelarossi and confirmed their dominance in the Italian women's football. The triumph marks Roma's 3rd league title in their and 3rd in the past 4 seasons, underlying a super and of course their dominance in the Italian Women League. Babajide contributed to the campaign with 9 league appearances as she registered 3 assists, with Oladipo also playing very, very significant role. Roma will now turn their attention, and that will be to complete a domestic double when they face Juventus ladies in Coppa Italia final on May the 24th. Congratulations to these 2 girls.
Yeah, congratulations to them, but Rinsola Babajide needs to do more to actually show that she's not just a squad player, but she is someone that can be part of the core players with the Roma Feminini side. But congratulations to her first trophy since she made a move to Italy, and let's see how far she can actually go. At some point, she was actually playing in England, and now look at her playing in Italy. And then looking at Shukura Oladipo, who in recent times joined up with the Super Falcons. So morale booster for Babajide and Shukurat as we are looking forward to what to anticipate from the Super Falcons going into the WAFCON.
All right, still in Italy, thousands of Inter Milan fans celebrated the 2025-2026 Serie A title that was in Piazza Duomo until late Sunday night, and they were even joined by some Nazarene stars. Now, Inter have won the 21st Scudetto in their history, and their 2-0 win over Parma on Sunday, as that was followed by a night of celebration, first at San Siro and then in Piazza Duomo. Several Inter supporters were in Milan's main square all through the night, and at some point they were joined by some of the idols, their idols including Marcos Thuram and Federico Di Marco. Now, who wouldn't be happy after winning and after struggling and suffering and fighting, then getting the Scudetto? A beautiful night it is for Italy. But something is very interesting about the whole thing. The first time this Italian legend is coming to a club he played before, he won the Scudetto.
And it's more of giving you what Zinedine Zidane did with Real Madrid, during his time with Real Madrid. Now, Christian Chivu, this is his first season, and he actually gave out a wonderful performance with the team. And I believe in the space of 3 years, 4 years, they've won the Italian Serie A twice. And it has rotated. The Scudetto has has actually rotated between Inter Milan, Napoli, and also looking at the Milan neighbor, talking about AC Milan. So for Christian Chivo beating Parma, they would have actually lifted it last week, but they let a 2-goal lead slip through their fingers. A historic achievement for Inter. This is their 21st Italian league title, furthering their legacy in the Italian Serie A. Christian Chivo, he replaced Simeone and leading the team to a dominant league performance. Let's see if this is just going to be a first time lucky, because the first time we can actually see what happened with Ancelotti and Liverpool last season and see how he struggled with Liverpool this season. Not putting the comparison because these are two different leagues, but at the same time, success is not just making it to the top, but actually showing that you belong, you can remain at the top for a long time. So let's see what Inter Milan can actually put out, because when you look at the performances of the Italian sides in the Champions League, you can actually ask yourself what is going on with the Italian side when the likes of Inter Milan was actually knocked out. Juventus, all of them were knocked out. Atalanta managed to go as far as they could, but at the end of the day, they were also ousted from the UEFA Champions League. So ultimately, domestically, you have done pretty well, and you've seen how you've carried the team going into the 2025-2026 season. Now, when the 2026-2027 season, what is your ambition? What is your aim? Yes, you are part of the core team. You are part of the core members. You know the team. Just like what Michael Carrick is doing with Manchester United, this is what Chivo is doing with Inter Milan. But at the end of the day, Nerazzurri will want to continue their dominance. Juventus were able to dominate the Italian Serie A for many, many years. Other teams at the top of the table would definitely want to emulate what Juventus did, but now it comes through to giving kudos to Marcus Thuram, giving kudos to Lautaro Martinez, a lot. Denzel Dumfries is a big one, a bigger one for a big contributor for Inter Milan. The team as a whole, they came together, not just Christian Chivo and his tactical discipline, but the team in general were disciplined enough, despite the fact that they had a couple of poor runs at some point, but they were able to get their acts together and they came through. That is what makes champions. But at the end of the day, like I stated, they need to prove that they can remain at the top with the big boys.
All right, talking about Liverpool and Arne Slot. Last season they were the champions, but this season things have moved, from bad to worse. Even though they can still manage to qualify the Champions League this season, I think that's the thing left for them to compete for. Now, yesterday evening, Manchester United took 2-0 lead at the beginning of that encounter at Old Trafford. But then in the second half, somewhere, very two big mistakes. First by Amanda Diallo, and then second by the goalkeeper of Manchester United, allowed them come back at pay. But towards the dying minute of that particular encounter, the young man who signed newly, Kobe Menu, was able to get the decisive goal that handed the Red Devils the whole 3 points at Old Trafford. Now, before that particular match, it's a battle now in the EPL. Why Arsenal won Fulham 3-0 on Saturday to maintain their grip at the top of the table, though Manchester City have 2 games at hand. At least they have improved, not just by the 6 point now, but also goals scored.
They were able to score goals, yeah.
Now, if you look at what's happening at the top of the table, just like we said earlier on in the NPFL, in the EPL, something is happening. Now, for West Ham United, it's becoming difficult. They moved back to the relegation zone on Saturday after they lost 3-0 at not a side that they themselves do not even want to hear anybody coming close to them. Now, Tottenham Hotspur went away and won at Aston Villa. The way this battle is happening at the top is still the same thing that's happening at the bottom. At the end of the day, do you think, it's going to be that West Ham or Tottenham, if you're asked with the way things are going now, because it looks like with the new coach, Roberto Di Gerbi, Tottenham are beginning to get back their ass. I think for the first time this year, they have won 2 matches back-to-back.
Consecutively. And also for the very first time in us, who knows how many times, they're now 3 games
unbeaten. So, do you think the coming of Di Gerbi may help Tottenham to
Well, the
avoid relegation.
experience of Roberto De Zerbi, that might be the the game changer for Tottenham Hotspur, and also making it to safety ahead of West Ham. Because when you look at how Tottenham Hotspur have actually organized themselves, because lucky enough, Roberto De Zerbi coming into Tottenham Hotspur, a couple of the first team players are returned. Bentancur is back into the starting 11. They've had a couple of injury problems. Yes, it didn't take away the fact that Tottenham Hotspur have actually lost. They've had more injury concerns than they've won games this particular season. And a couple of players also lost form. Talking about the likes of Yus Bissouma and also looking at Assar in midfield. And they had injury concerns as well. Now, for West Ham, they are just holding on to the fact that Nuno Espirito Santo is an experienced man when it comes down to battling out from the relegation waters. But
he's been there a couple of times.
Yes, but when you look at the couple of games that he has actually played, yes, they've won brilliantly, but West Ham have lost in the past 5 games. They've lost 2 matches. The 2 matches they've lost, they've come up against Aston Villa. Aston Villa beat them, and recently they came up against Brentford, and Brentford went away with a comfortable 3-0 victory over the weekend. But now, when you look at the victories that they've actually come to being, is actually teams that are struggling, or when it comes through to, okay, let's just take it. Everton, they won Everton, and they won Wolverhampton Wanderers. But for Tottenham Hotspur, when it comes through to the first game for Roberto De Zerbi, he came up against his former side, and he was always putting his nose in front with Tottenham Hotspur. Ultimately, ended in a 2-2 draw, and then from there, he was able to win consecutively. 1-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yes, a struggle in that game, but Pahinha's strike was enough to make the difference, and then convincingly, they beat Aston Villa, the same Aston Villa that beat West Ham. So, the experience of Roberto De Zerbi, and also the experience of the players that they have Richarlison there, they have Matthias Tel there, they have Mickey van der Ven when it comes down to defense. So, a couple of experienced players in that particular team. You won't really compare to what West Ham has, but West Ham have a couple of players that can be game changers. So some of you can actually be one that you can count upon to spring off something out of the box. And then when it comes down to the experience in that particular team, and also a couple of their January acquisition, they've been trying their best, but it's looking likely that West Ham's best might not be enough for them to escape safety with the way Nottingham Forest is playing. Nottingham Forest, they are not even playing like they are in that particular relegation waters, because this victory over Chelsea today actually marks it the 3rd straight victory for Nottingham Forest. And then in the past 5 games, they are unbeaten. 4 victories and 1 draw. A lot of people looked at it, Chelsea, and a change of manager, a change of coach, a change of settings, but ultimately they took it as a normal routine. Kudos to Taiwo Awoniyi and the lads. 2 goals from Taiwo Awoniyi, and also he had a hand in all the 3 goals that Nottingham Forest scored today. So the way Nottingham Forest is actually playing, you can actually see this is the team that made it to Europe last season. Nuno Espirito Santo built a team that went after. They were able to compete with everyone, and then the quality of the team shows, because right now they are fighting for a place in the finals of the Europa League. They are 1 step ahead. Thanks to Chris Wood's strike, that was a penalty first of all, but in an all-English semi-final in the Europa League, Chris Wood was able to. That's the experience that he actually have. So ultimately, I see Tottenham Hotspur and Nottingham Forest actually going up to safety, and West Ham will join the likes of Burnley and Wolves, who are already relegated, going into the 2nd division of English football.
All right, looking ahead at what will happen starting from tomorrow, talking about the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. 4 clubs already, in the UEFA Champions League. First legs have taken place. We saw a basketball kind of game in the first leg in France, where we had 9 goals. The first time that has happened in the semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. Paris Saint-Germain scored 5 against Bayern, and Bayern were able to cancel out 4, and then Paris have a little edge over Bayern, with which they will be going to Allianz Arena tomorrow. Then in the other game, Arsenal were able to hold their own to come off with a 1-1 draw at Atletico, and then Atletico will be coming to England come tomorrow. Now, Atletico Madrid have confirmed their squad for the trip to London this midweek after they review the team news or an update. For a start, Nicolas Gonzalez and Pablo Barrios are absent, so they won't be making their inquiry come back against Arsenal on Tuesday. These two names won't be there, but Jose Mario Jimenez has traveled despite missing the first leg of the semi-final on Atletico's match against Valencia at the weekend. That suggests he is on the verge of an injury comeback, but it may be too much to immediately throw him into the lineup, judging from what kind of game that will be played. The other big news is that Julian Alvarez is in the squad, having come off early against Arsenal in the first leg before sitting out of the Valencia game at the weekend. Dario de Noticias, you know him, Noticias, had reported on Monday morning that though Alvarez was expected to travel, his ability to start the match will depend on how his ankle evolves over the next 24 hours. Okay, now the same goes to Giuliano Simeone, the son of the coach, who is fit to travel but might not be strong enough to start. Aside from the 5 names listed now above, the expectation is that everyone else will be fit and available for selection by Diego Simeone on Tuesday night.
Well, positive updates for Diego Simeone and Atletico Madrid, because most of their big hitters will be available. Talking about the fact that Alvarez had an injury scare in the first leg of that encounter against Arsenal, and who knows how it's going to be. And then Alexander Solot would have actually been a problem for Diego Simeone, but it is looking likely he will be available. The first leg, a lot of people question why didn't he bring him in earlier on. Probably he would have been the difference maker in that encounter, but ultimately he's available. And then it's going to be a big miss for Atletico Madrid. Pablo Barrios, he's one player that loves running around to ensure that he displaces the opposition. So positive notes for Diego Simeone when it comes down to, despite the injury scares in the first leg, the likes of Julian Alvarez, Alexander Solot, Giuliano Simeone, his son, he actually substituted his son in that encounter despite because of fitness issues, and then there are certain fitness concerns that he may not start that game, but he's part of the traveling team. But for Arsenal, it's going to be a huge miss for them, because the likes of Kai Havertz and Martin Odegaard, they are still a doubt, but ultimately would actually see if they're going to make it to that particular game. But there's no Julian Timber, there is no Mikel Merino, as they are still out with injury problems. So right now, Mikel Arteta would actually have to make do with the players that he has, and then we all will anticipate what can Diego Simeone pop out of the box when playing against Arsenal. We saw how just one substitution going into the second 45 minutes of the first leg of that encounter at the Wanda Metropolitano changed the dominance, the way Atletico Madrid dominated Arsenal. Probably we could actually see a different approach from Diego Simeone. Yes, a lot of people have said that these are two defensive sides, but I feel that goals will be scored in the second leg right there at the Emirates. It's going to rain goals.
Both teams knowing that that's just the 90 minutes you have to prove yourself.
That is it. So I feel they are going to go all out, but for Diego Simeone, he's going to go all out in that game. But Mikel Arteta is still going to play reserve football, and that's where I feel is going to kill him. That's where it's going to kill the a run for Arsenal going for the finals of the Champions League, because right now Diego Simeone is a man that he tries to go all out to get what he wants. He goes toe-to-toe, day in, day out, week in, week out with the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid, who continue to dominate the Spanish La Liga. And at the end of the day, he always finds a way to be as close as he can with Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. But a lot to be on the mind of Mikel Arteta. Yes, he has managed to go 6 points clear of Manchester City, but one leg in the box, one leg out of the box for Mikel Arteta going into that particular game, knowing that he needs to put in a strong team. He needs to put in a strong team in the English Premier League. Manchester City will be playing this night. I know Mikel Arteta, one mind will be in the English Premier League game while he's preparing for tomorrow's encounter against Atletico Madrid at the Emirates Stadium. So this is where I feel Arteta is going to put on the training wheels tomorrow against Atletico Madrid, and that's going to cost him.
Okay, on the flip side, the UEFA Champions League, of course, will return to Allianz Arena on Wednesday night with holders Paris Saint-Germain taking a slender advantage, like I said earlier on, into the high-stakes second leg against six-time winners Bayern Munich. Now, PSG French international Ousmane Dembele has already set the tone for what promises to be a high octanes. Of course, we all see UEFA Champions League semi-final encounter, second leg encounter, and Paris Saint-Germain themselves, they are not pushovers. Now, a lot of the players have been talking, the coaches have been talking, the players have been talking. Harry Kane, the sharpshooter, has come out, of course, to say it will be who takes their moments. Kane says the game will go down to the side that will take their moment. And the words reflect a contest already living up to its billing. Everybody's talking. Harry Kane, Ousmane Dembele, the both coaches that have been talking. We may have the time to talk, say all they have said. But I just pick interest in what Harry Kane said, that this game will be down to who takes their moments.
Who takes their moments? In the first leg, both teams took their moments, and that's why we had a 9-goal thriller. So ultimately, I feel it's going to be who defends better in the second leg of that encounter. It was an open defense, open house between Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich. Both teams exploited the spaces in behind, and they have attackers that are capable to punish any lapse they find in the opposing defense. We saw that Dayo Upamecano and Jonathan Tah tried their possible best to match up when it comes down to speed and physicality, but ultimately we've seen that game is not more of a physical game, it's more of a direct game. And ultimately, like I said, the defense needs to be present. The defense needs to be present. Marquinhos needs to bring in his experience, and he's playing alongside young players. And remember, Ashraf Hakimi will not be available because of the injury picked up in the first leg of that encounter right there at the Parc des Princes. Now, this is the home territory of the Bavarian Giants. This is the home territory of a team that have already been crowned champions of the German Bundesliga. So it is all to play for in the second leg for Vincent Kompany, a manager who has won trophies in Belgium, was able to bring Burnley out of the second division of English
and also
football.
sank them back.
Yes, to tell the rigorous nature of the Premier League, it is very, very tasking. But right now, he has the players, he has the experience, and also has the backing of the fans, because this is the home ground. The 12th man will be available, and definitely the noise would be penetrating. It actually affects one way or the other the gameplay of Paris Saint-Germain. But right now, the players have actually made it through this particular moment, and they will be looking forward to gunning for it all. So the defensive compartment, this is where they have to test their resolve. That this is where the job counts. So will it be defense? Because this is where we're going to see little goals. First leg was exploding with a lot of goals, but the second leg definitely coming in from Enrique or company. He will definitely they will have to spend time with their defensive compartment, reduce the amount of goals that we concede, and let's see how the game plays out.
All right, let's give you one or two pieces of information with respect to basketball. Now, the Basketball League has officially confirmed the bracket for the 2025 BAL playoffs, with 8 teams set to battle for the continental title in Kigali, Rwanda. Following the conclusion of the conference phase, the qualified teams now know their paths to the championship as the competition enters its decisive stage. Now, according to the playoffs format, the quarterfinal features will be played over a best-2 series format before the tournament switches to a straight knockout system from the semi-finals to the final. The winners of the quarterfinal tie will advance into the semi-finals, where it will become a win-to-go-home contest as teams chase a place in the final and an opportunity to be crowned the 2026 BL champions. Now, before that, just want you to know, you need to know about Nigerian participation. It's not a good one. Well, it's not a good one. What's the reason? The reason is because Nigerian participants in the playoffs, Marktown Flyers, they did not make it to the playoffs. Why? And that's why their guard, Thomas Oko, has come out to admit that the Nigerian champions failed to perform well throughout the 2026 Basketball African League Sahara Conference. Nigerian side, talking about Marktown Flyers, they crashed out of the competition after suffering defeat to ASC de Dakar in the 5th game of the conference on Sunday. Marktown Flyers managed just one victory in 5 games, a result that ended their hopes of progressing to BAL playoffs themselves. Reacting after the defeat, Ocon acknowledged that the Senegalese side deserved the victory and admitted that his team struggled from the beginning of the tournament till the end.
Well, this is their first run at the Basketball African League, and when it comes down to the fact that they played more games than Rivers Hoopers actually played during their debut season at the Basketball African League. So it's also learned from in this particular scenario for the Marktown Flyers, because in a game of win or go home clash against in Rabat, Marktown Flyers they kept the pace in the first quarter, but going over to the second, third, and fourth quarter, that is where they were pushed out by the Dakar-based team, because the physicality and offensive execution eventually overwhelmed them. This is where they need to go back and go back to the drawing board. Definitely, it starts up from the National League, and then see how far they can actually push themselves if they can make an appearance going into next season of the Basketball African League. But this is experience gained and not experience lost, because just like they did the first, they were able to win one game out of the 5 matches that they actually played. This was the same result. One game was won by the Rivers Hoopers in their debut of the Basketball African League. So a lot to be won, and also going into the world of basketball, Nigeria needs to find a way to create a competitive league where
within
we
the
can,
country.
yes, where we can actually say it's not just Rivers Hoopers, it's not just Marktown Flyers, but when we have representative, we can actually go on to say, because we also know what happened to Kwara Falcons. Kwara Falcons did not have a good run at the African converted league, talking about the Basketball African League, and but we had hope. We have hope that teams are rising to go on to put Nigerian Basketball League in the continental atmosphere.
Okay, before we open the phone line, let's let you know that Nigeria failed to compete in the women's 4x400 recharge at the World Relays after a mix-up involving the athletes' schedule for the race. What happened? According to news from the competition venue, Nigeria could not take part in the event because the team failed to assemble the required 4 athletes on the track before the start of the race. Some of the athletes who had earlier featured in the mixed 4x400 meter relay were expected to join the women's team for the recharge event. However, confusion over procedures and movement between the track and call room reportedly disrupted the arrangement. Officials delayed the start of the race for a few minutes while waiting for the Nigerian quartet to assemble, but with the team still incomplete, the event eventually proceeded without Nigeria. A similar situation also affected Nigeria in the mixed 400 meter relay event. However, Favour Ashe and Chidera Ezako, who had just completed the men's 400 meter race, stayed on the track and immediately lined up for the mixed relay, helping the country to avoid another disqualification scenario.
Okay, this is the same thing that people Philly complained about when it comes down to preparedness. Nigerian Athletics Federation need to do more when it comes through to preparedness, because the athletes now you're going into a competition, you're going into a championship like this, you should know who is starting, who is going to be involved in this competition. And I believe the mix-up coming through to reports was the mix-up came in when the athletes thought that they will have a moment to rest before they can come into the next game. So for the ladies that performed in the mix event, when it comes down to the 4x400 meters, they were supposed to start up the 4x400. That was the mixed event came first, and then the women's 4x400 meters event came second. It was supposed to start up immediately. So this is where we need to look at ourselves, and should we get a bigger contingent going into competitions, because out of the 4 they managed to qualify for 3, and missing out on the women's 4x400 meters event. They will be looking forward to actually going to see how far they can push going into other qualifiers to make an appearance going into global athletics unit. So the Athletics Federation of Nigeria need to know how to get to the drawing boards on time, get individuals that know the game plan before the competition start up, know the procedures of how the competition is going to get played, how the athletes would be lined up, who would be appearing in a certain event, and who would actually go on to be back up, because injury concerns can actually arise. So a lot needs to be done by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, because this is so appalling that athletes, we are looking at themselves else who will go in. This one is saying, I'm still tired. I cannot go in immediately for an event that's a long distance event. For Ashe, he was able to do that. He was able to stay back and run again because
make sure that Nigeria will not
his own, he came through from the 4x100 meters mix and then going into a 4x100 meters men's event as well. But now the ladies, they came through from the 4x400 meters mix and then going over to a full 4x400. So it is taxing for them, and they looked at it and I was like, it's better that I do not participate rather than I go there and I don't participate, perform optimally. So at this point, we'll be opening the phone lines for you to join in the conversation at 0911 20022, 0911 20022, or 0707 454 1014, 0707 454 1014. And also remember, the WhatsApp platform is available for you to send in a message if you can't get across the phone lines at 0707 491 3438. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Noble.
Good evening, Oga Bernard.
Good evening, Kaki.
Good evening, Mr. Bernard. You're welcome to the show.
Yes, I'm Bernard Ngoke. From our mama. I'm calling from my family in Java this evening.
Happy
Welcome
for you.
You guys are already through to the Champions League for next season.
In England. We are welcome.
Thank you very much. Quickly, what do you have for us?
UEFA Champions League. UEFA Champions League. Next season, the whole world will be treated to soccer artistry. And we are thanking Liverpool for respecting their seniors. In fact, that's joy every year. Thank you and God bless.
All right, thank you, Oga Bernard. Do enjoy.
United beat Liverpool.
I got joy. Hello, good evening.
Fox in the boss.
I greet you, J10. Good evening.
Kian Uman Wesabi.
Good evening to you, J10, my brother. You're welcome to the show.
I greet the both of you in the studio.
You're welcome.
This is J10 calling from Wedra, God of Banza.
Welcome to the show.
What did Chelsea play this afternoon? I hope Chelsea win.
Yes,
no, you cannot go there, J10. J10, Chelsea were beaten by Nottingham Forest at Stamford Bridge by 3-1.
Okay, Chelsea lost.
Why do you always like to put me into this trouble now? No, this is not fair now. I thought we were partners in crime.
The partners.
Okay.
I thought Chelsea won. That is what I'm asking.
We are talking the same thing as well.
You're called God of Banter. I can see.
No, it's not like that. It's just that. What did Man U and Liverpool play yesterday?
What's in my now?
Man United beat Liverpool by 3-2.
Okay.
Never watched it too.
Oh, Liverpool lost yesterday. They are co-same with Chelsea now. Likewise, Aston Villa. 3 of them now. They have officially granted that Chelsea is not coming to Champions League next season. So
yes.
They have yes, now they have officially. So, well, I won't take much time. Bayern draw now because they know that they have qualified. They have won the league, so they have nothing to do with the league. They are just waiting for PSG on Wednesday. And PSG also drew. Bayern drew 3-3. PSG drew 2-2. So 2 of them are waiting for each other. Then, when you come down to this game this night between Manchester and Everton, see, I will tell Arsenal fan one thing. If they want to win this league, 1 is 2 things. They should win their remaining 3 matches. 2, Man City should lose 2 matches, the remaining 5. That is the only way Arsenal can win this.
Okay.
If Man City should win 4 out of that 5, it cannot be possible. But I want to tell you guys something. There is something you guys did that weekend, but I didn't say that in the weekend. I'm just looking at you guys. Princess scored and shared cake, and you guys didn't even tell her to keep my own. So she gave.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
See this cake they eat
I don't
online.
know. I beg you.
I did not eat.
A cake reach our hand.
I know see.
And you want me to come to deliberate on the issue. Going over to the WhatsApp platform, this is coming in from Ugos. Ugos is testing from Nazi. Good evening. Go. Okay. Buenas noches. Buenas noches to you too. Go. He says buenas noches. The sports chef and Kachi Sports. First off, kudos to Kun Khalifa FC for the feat recorded over the weekend against Kano Pillars. The sports chef, do you think this current MPFL can really produce players that vie for shirts and stand the test of time in the Super Eagles? Finally, Kachi Sports, don't you think that henceforth anyone who says that the sky is blue
Say it. Should be arrested.
I
don't
come
know
in
why.
peace. That is what he said. I come in peace. We don't preach.
Because it's not fair. What you're doing to me.
Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening,
Hello, good
man.
evening to you.
Seems like a
All
bit
right.
of a network issue there. So one more call before we're stepping away from the studio right now. It's been a ride. This is
Seriously.
definitely Chelsea losing and hello, good evening.
Did they lose?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening and welcome.
Kachi.
My brother, good evening to you.
Yeah. This is Chidebe from Moji.
Shidi, you're welcome.
Turn down the volume of your radio set and make it quick, please. 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm outside. So, I told Kachi that Chelsea will lose this match. Not after did it to me. By winning Chelsea 3 goals to 1. So, Chelsea can never lose. Remaining 3 matches, they can never win it. They will finish on 12th this season.
Okay.
So, I'm not here because of pressures. I told Liverpool fans that I'm going to win the home and away at the win Chelsea. Yes, they are beat Liverpool 3 goals to 2. That's the Liverpool scored, not a goal. Thank you. God bless you.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
God bless
Thank you very much.
This is where we're going to draw the curtain. Thank you very much. Just like sports chef said earlier on, it's been a ride. We'll just try to do our best to make sure that we'll bring you up to speed with the latest in the world of sports. But anyway, the ones we didn't touch today, probably tomorrow, we'll touch an angle to that particular one. It's been a wonderful time. Double the sports chef with Kachi Sports. Thank you very much for being part of the show. You are the VIP, and trust me, tomorrow we'll be here again to give you the best.
Definitely. Buenas noches.